Welcome back to Justice. I interviewed the parents of Lisa Irwin days after she went missing. But last Sunday, the Irwins gave a series of interviews and some facts of their story changed. So what does it all mean? Joining me now, body language expert Tonya Reiman. Welcome, Tonya.
Hi, how are you?
I am well, thank you. Thanks for being with us this evening. Now, when I spoke with the couple, I asked Jeremy directly about police accusations against Deborah. Take a look at this one.
When the police were pointing the finger at Debbie, I mean, for 1 second, did you think, gee, they must know something that I don't know?
No. I mean, there's no way that she knows anything more than I do. I mean, it was never an issue for me. They kept saying stuff, and it's all part of their job, but it didn't really make any difference.
How does that hit you?
You know, it's interesting because he's just so stoic. He's so deadpan most of the time. And here, for the first time, he's kind of looking at her. He's trying to make eye contact with her. And she doesn't reciprocate. She doesn't look up to him. So I thought that was a little bit bizarre. I thought at that point she should have looked up at him and gave him a loving gaze to say, thank you for standing by me.
Yeah, thanks for saying. Yeah, no way she knows anything more than I do.
Right, exactly. So I thought that was a little bit bizarre on her part. But at the same time, I haven't had an opportunity to baseline her that much. So that could just be how she normally reacts.
But you find him credible by looking down at her and saying there's no way. In that moment.
One moment, yes, I did, because he's trying to connect with her.
But
and
she's not
giving it back. Right.
But what does that tell you, that she's not reciprocating?
Well, I can't be sure because I don't know what her baseline is.
You don't have the baseline yet. Okay.
But it's bizarre.
Let's see if we can get a baseline here. Now, listen to what Deborah says when she's asked a direct question about Lisa's disappearance.
Did you have anything to do with your baby's disappearance?
No.
No, nothing.
Did you kill little Lisa?
No.
No.
She's still alive somewhere.
What do you think?
Okay, do you know what's interesting also? She always takes the lead. If you watch throughout each and every interview, she's the one who answers first, and then he follows. He repeats her answer typically. But here again, when she's asked about, you know, did you have anything to do with your child gone missing, I would have expected a, no, absolutely not, no way. And she's very kind of deadpan, like, no. No, well, I wanted to see a more emphatic answer there.
Yeah, we're not talking about did you get the pizza that night. We're talking about you missing 10-month-old, 11-month-old daughter.
No, I did not have anything to do with this. Why? Something that kind of shows the drama of what she's experiencing.
This week, Lisa's parents spoke with Good Morning America. Deborah talks about police showing her burned clothes that they said they found in a burning dumpster near their home early that morning. Let's take a look.
You said that what you have been told has been lies. What do you mean by that?
During interrogation, we found this. They showed me burnt clothes. They showed me a Doppler thing with pings from my cell phones, and I'm led to believe at this point that none of that was real. I hope the burnt clothes weren't real.
Okay, so here again, we go back to what emotion can we see? And we see two things there. The first thing we see is sadness. You could see her eyebrows change, and that demonstrates that she's experiencing sadness. But then she experiences fear. You see this big, like, eyes widening. And when you see fear, you recognize that suddenly she's become scared of something that was said. And again, it could just be the thought of her child really being burnt, like the burnt clothes. That's terrifying to her, and that's why her eyes widen.
Okay, so if her eyes get bigger, that could be either that she's worried about the burnt clothes, worried about the baby, or worried that somebody has found out something that's significant.
Right.
We can't really be that specific.
Yet.
All right, good. Now, Deborah's admission that she failed the lie detector test raised several eyebrows. Take a look at this one.
The police told you that you failed a polygraph. They also told us that you failed it, and they said you failed it miserably. Did they tell you what questions you failed?
Yes.
What questions?
Do I know where she's at?
And what did you say to them when they told you that?
That's not possible. I have absolutely no idea where my daughter is. if I knew she'd be with me.
One of the things I want to point out is she is very consistent. As she's speaking, what I'm looking for is what, like we talked about earlier, baseline. And she consistently looks up and to her right. And that tells me that she's going to the same area of the brain to come up with her answers, which means that's probably the area she goes to remember. So here she's telling you, and as she's telling you, she's looking up and to the right. And that gives me an idea that she's being honest there.
That she's looking to remember. Maybe she's looking to remember what she said last time.
That's possible.
Because actually they told her she failed the lie detector.
But it would typically, when you go to make something up, you would go to the other side.
When I interviewed the Irwins, Deborah told me she last checked on Lisa at 10:30 and that was the last time she saw her. And she admitted to me that she had been drinking wine with a friend. But listen to what she says last Sunday about the timeline and the amount of alcohol that she had to drink that night.
What time did you put Lisa down to bed initially?
6:40.
Okay, and that's her normal bedtime?
No, it's usually between 7:30 and 8, but she'd been kind of fussy, and I just decided to put her down.
How drunk were you?
Just drunk.
I mean, were you slurring your words? Were you stumbling?
I don't think so, no.
Do you remember the period well?
No.
Is it possible you had a blackout?
It's a possibility. I mean, just like anybody else, when you drink, you don't remember the things that happen, but it, once again, has nothing to do with my daughter.
You know, what's interesting is, just based on what you said last time, when she said, do you remember, she looked right. So she was trying to remember I'm a good student, right? According to what you said. But then, you know, could you have done something? Tell me what you think.
Well, here's what bothered me. Two things bothered me. Number one, I saw one-sided shoulder shrug. So when I see someone making a statement and they shrug one of their shoulders, my first instinct is they're telling you they don't really know the answer. What do? When somebody asks you a question that you don't know, you go like this. Right. So the fact that she gave the one-sided shrug tells me that that's kind of telling you I don't really know if this is true. But more importantly is the frustration of, if she believes that there's a possibility she blacked out, then how can she be sure that nothing happened to her daughter due to that? Like, unless she knows where her daughter is, that blackout.
Let's take a look at that again. When exactly does she shrug? Can you run that again?
Were you slurring your words? Were you stumbling?
I don't think so, no.
Do you remember the period well?
No.
Is it possible you had a blackout?
It's a possibility. I mean, just like anybody else, when you drink, you don't remember the things that happen, but it, once again, has nothing to do with my daughter.
That's when she shrugged. She said, it has nothing to do with my daughter. Does that mean she doesn't know if the alcohol had something to do with her daughter being missing?
It's a direct contradiction to that statement. I have no idea. That's really what she said. I have no idea.
Okay. All right, Tonya Reiman, thank you so much. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
That's it for us tonight. If you